folks, place your hands in the yellow circle. In today's video, a pretty special mock that I've wanted to do for years. It's the fifth element, and in particular, the flying NYPD car. I've also built Korben Dallas's taxi, so check the link in the description for that video. And I tell you, I had so much fun building these. I will show you the interior and the build techniques later in the video, so stick around for that. But first, let's cover the exterior and how this all came about, as I've tried to get everything as accurate as possible. Even this police minifigure I based on the driver during the jump scene with his moustache. He's the police officer I always remember when thinking about the movie. And of course, I rewatched the film several times and I didn't realise just how short the flying vehicle and New York scenes were. The police cars to me are so memorable, but you're talking like 2 or 3 minutes of film really, so it's difficult to use the film and the movie stills as reference points. But for reference, I actually used digital asset recreations online and pictures of models which show all the details you can't see on screen. Of course, things were a wee bit blurry with CGI in those days, so it's kind of hard to see it in the film. And my aim with these mocks is to actually keep it smaller in scale and not make a UCS style build, but more like something LEGO would actually make, hypothetically if say Fifth Element came out now. I reckon LEGO would make tie-in sets, so I've gone for something in the vein of a Speed Champion size set, like 8 studs wide with room for 1 minifigure. Even with modern curvy LEGO parts, there is a slight difficulty getting the front shaping right, and I'll admit it's not as curvy as I'd like it to be, but that's kind of because I wanted to use that police bonnet which came from a Gotham PD car, but it really works well with the police logo, as I don't make custom stickers or anything like that. Same in the rear, there should be an NYPD sign, but I just put a police printed tile. But hey, given the limitations of curvature at this scale, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I haven't included an opening door. I did try, but it was too flimsy and it broke off all the time. I'm really happy with the underside though of the car. It's really turned out pretty good, and it's really nice to reuse actual LEGO aircraft engines as engines for the car. The rear of the car in particular is a bit of a favourite part for me. There's no window, it's just these horizontal features, a slight spoiler that curves up at the back, and you know, it's easily achieved with slopes with LEGO. For the side windows, I just did one without a B-pillar in the middle, but it makes sense at this scale. For the inside, we're lucky, as on screen we do see the interior in a few shots. The McDonald's one is great as we get a good look inside. It's full of computers and switches with a dark brown and black coloration. I can only fit one officer in here, but it keeps it simple and it makes it easy to get in and out with your hands. I also kept the rooftop build really simple. It's just 2 of those bonnet pieces and the sirens are very simply made. So inside it's the usual thing with terminals and a speedometer and a space age steering wheel. He's got plenty of space actually, even with a bulky outfit and helmet, and it's all tiled black inside. Nice. And in fact, this is exactly how I imagine LEGO would make this if they had really made a set. They would just have one figure in there. There's so many cool things in this film, but I love the police officer designs. The costumes were actually designed in collaboration with concept artist and French fashion designer Jean-Paul Gaultier, and such an interesting design. It does remind me a bit of Judge Dredd, but it's a really unique design, a wee bit hard to replicate in minifigure form. Like, that helmet is quite striking. I really couldn't figure out how to make an actual figure. I wasn't sure just to put a regular police officer in there, but I actually used a welder helmet and the armour from a space CMF figure and Commissioner Gordon's head for the mustachioed officer, and the body is from a super secret police figure from the LEGO movie. It's about as good as it gets from me with custom figures, to be honest. Another wee feature is I also made a stand for the MOC, which I guess also doubles as like a landing pad for the car in universe, but it's kind of handy having something like this for display purposes. Just gives it a bit more of a kind of cool look on the shelf. So for the build, now it looks complicated, but it's really not. The bulk of this is just studs on side. It's just rows of snot bricks, which I can then attach shaping to. It's dead simple, and the underside too is super easy. It's just curved tiles and a few other curved pieces for the front thrusters. Personally, I'm not like stud adverse, but I really think if we can avoid seeing studs, then we should. LEGO makes slopes and tiles to cover these things, so we should do it if we can, and I think these kind of cars look perfect with all the smooth surfaces. In comparison to Korben's taxi, you can see how wide the police car is. It does feel a bit more bulky, which I feel it is on film. It's certainly a bit wider looking and beefier. And if you want to recreate something similar, it's really just a very simple studs on side build with all the bumpers and bodywork attached in this manner, and the front bumper is worked into the curves as well. The front lights are dead simple too, but it's pretty accurate, and instead of doors I put these curves and it gives it the right shape. To be fair, I probably could have extended the bonnet a bit further out to make it a bit more realistic in shape, but I kind of wanted to keep it at this scale. And yeah, it's the perfect size and scale for swooshing about, and my kids have had lots of fun with them already, recreating the shootout scene against a taxi, and I think I've heard this many times today.
This is not an exercise, this is a police control.
And it was great to re-watch this film again, because wow, what a visual treat this film is. Luc Besson had a fully realised notion of a future New York, which we only see a glimmer of, but it's stunning. And since seeing the film back in the day, I've always wanted to make the cars in LEGO and do them justice, and I hope I have done just that. I'd love to know what you think of my police car. Are you a fan of the movie, and wouldn't you love to see more adventures in this universe? Thanks so much for watching until the end, so check out my taxi video too if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next video guys. Thanks so much, bye!